Hello, Quest here, Real Myst Masterpiece Edition. In the last part, I didn't bother reading books in a library, so this is probably going to be a two-part episode. Part one is just going to be book reading. Also, did I miss seeing this book entirely? This seems to be explaining how this building itself works. But anyway, yeah, this is just going to be the book reading part. I think I also missed this book. I think I noticed this, and this. I'm just quickly looking for diagrams before the real reading begins. Oh. These symbols are like the things that turn red or green, and I can probably find these in the constellation place. So I don't know my constellations particularly well. I wonder if these are like real ones? Like, is that a swan? Is this Cygnus? Would an arrow be Sagittarius? Yeah, I don't know. Oh, wait a minute. No, I promised book reading. I was thinking I would try turning the list of things that were green out there, or the green, yeah, I would change the ones to green that were actually listed in this book. But yes, we're starting here. Let's see, I read something like, I think I stopped about here. As I suspected, the ancient creature is human, but he is old beyond his own reckoning and seems almost insane. However, the tree dwellers almost revere him as a god. They are treating me now in the same fashion, which makes me very uncomfortable. It is almost impossible to understand this old man. His voice is feeble but wild. He has adopted much of the language of the tree dwellers. He himself told me he had not spoken our own tongue in ages. He attempted to explain to me the history of this place. The following is my best translation of what he has told me. Many years ago, the humans and tree dwellers lived together in this place, which was then a vast island. They interacted very little. The humans dwelt on the ground, and the tree dwellers lived high above the humans. Occasionally, the island was disturbed by mysterious rumblings which happened randomly, some sort of tectonic or volcanic action, I suspect. The sometimes slight, sometimes heavy tremors would only last a short time. Then they would stop, allowing everything to return to normal. One day, things changed. The rumbling began and grew quickly to unprecedented levels. Soon it became apparent that the entire island was sinking slowly into the ocean around them. Many of the humans died that day, but not before sacrificing themselves in order to stop the sinking of the island. The humans who lived through this catastrophe moved into the trees, where they gradually died out, maybe because they were unequipped for such an environment, but I'm not sure. This is the story the old man communicated to me, although many details are very unclear in my mind. I'm especially confused as to how the humans saved the island from completely sinking. In fact, I doubt the accuracy of that part of the story. The island must have stopped on its own, yet the old man believes in the truth of the story as if he had been there. The tree dwellers worship him, and apparently all humans, as if he, or they, were heroes or gods. The old man ended our conversation today with an event which I will never forget. He began gripping my hands tightly, murmuring something about rest and asleep. He then said, "We had expected you to come sooner." These actions filled me with a sort of immediate dread. With much effort, he stood to his feet. I tried to help, but he pushed me away with more force than I imagined his frail body contained. The tree dwellers quietly surrounded him with very solemn faces. They then kneeled before him. He walked to each and placed his hand on their heads. All the while, he murmured words which I did not understand. Finally, he turned to me and smiled. Then he closed his eyes and walked out the door and off the narrow path high in the trees. The tree dwellers were silent. They began a procession down the nearest rope ladder. As I was descending, I saw several of them pick up the body he had fallen onto a lower level of the walkway and carry it away. He was laying down at the dead end of a short pier-like structure. With the use of some potion, one of the tree dwellers lit the pier on fire, and I watched as the flames engulfed him. As the strange funeral proceeded, the waters around the pier changed to dull green. This morning I awoke, finding it hard to even believe the previous evening's events. The water is still green for as far as I can see now. For some reason, the water no longer shifts color. As I wander throughout the pathways, the creatures watch me, curious to see what I will do next. They are constantly offering me strange objects of affection. I even found food outside the doorway to the room in which I had slept. This is a unique race of beings. I hope to learn their language soon so that I may learn more from them. Blue text. I have lived on in this world for 3 months, off and on, and the tree dwellers have shown great hospitality. I am even beginning to learn bits of their language. I have decided to return home for an extended stay with my loving wife and my sons, and hopefully return with them. However, I am sure Catherine will once again refuse. I think this age would be a wonderful experience for them all, and I at least look forward to how Cirrus and Akinar will react to its curious inhabitants. Green text. Catherine is staying behind, as expected. My sons have returned with me, and they will enjoy this age very much. They get along very well with the tree dwellers and are picking up their language surprisingly fast. I have no doubt that it will not be too long until they can speak with the tree dwellers much better than myself. Blue text. I am leaving tomorrow to check on an Osmoian age. Ceres has suggested that I allow him and his brother to stay. Though the idea unsettles me, I know the boys are growing up rapidly. The hospitality of these creatures is such that I could think of no better place to leave them alone for a short while, so I will consent to their request. I warned the boys not to take advantage of the respect the tree dwellers have for their ideas. They seem to understand my warning, and I have faith they will follow it. Much to my dismay, upon arriving in Everdunes, I learned that Pran and her people are continuing to be menaced by the Kothik. Whatever. I fear for their survival and plan on returning to her shortly. After checking on Cirrus and Akinar here, see Everdune's journal for more information. After watching Cirrus and Akinar, I see they are handling things very well, and I think I can put to rest any fears about leaving them in Channelwood again, and for a longer time. Purple. The tree dwellers seem slightly distressed that I'm leaving, but I'm happy that Cirrus and Akinar are staying behind again. Red. I have been gone for over 3 days and have been to many different places. I had to tell Cirrus and Akinar about Pran's death today, and they were visibly shaken, although they only remembered her from their childhood. Catherine has suggested that it would be wise for Cirrus and Akinar to leave Channelwood for a while, and I have to agree. They will be returning with me when I leave again. Blue. I've told my sons that they will be returning with me in 2 days. They spent the entire night telling me of an adventure that I experienced in my absence, and it was rather remarkable. It seems they constructed a boat with the creatures and traveled some ways into the surrounding waters. I enjoy hearing them talk excitedly of their adventures, and am reminded of my own adventures as a child. I finally understand why the tree dwellers have been giving me their many inks and insisting that I write with them. Looking through some of my past entries, I see now that the inks have changed from the black I thought they were to various different colors. I have shown some of the creatures my journal, and they laughed and howled. I did not know they had such a sense of humor. Even now, as I look through this very colorful journal, I cannot help but laugh myself. I thought he just was using whatever he had on hand, and it happened to be different each journal entry because ink was hard to come by or something. Okay, we will be returning tomorrow. So my sons are with the creatures for the last night here. They told me they would like to come to Channelwood again, and also asked if they can visit some other ages alone. I'll have to think over their request. I believe they have proven to me that they are trustworthy and responsible. Catherine will also have to help me decide whether they are ready for travel alone. For now I must give my farewells to the creatures, for I do not know how long it will be until I visit this age again. And there are some diagrams. Alright. I don't know if I'll read all 5 books right now. I thought there were only 3 books. Okay, how many pages is this? Oh boy. What if I just did a book an episode until I was done with all the books? Or I leave the island. Yeah, that was a good amount of reading. I'll split the part and we'll get back to puzzle solving.